Welcome to the Drew School. The Drew School grew out of a simple but powerful belief. With the technology that exists today, we believe every child deserves a personalized learning pathway, a pathway that is built around a student's strengths, a student's passions, and their potential. Most schools still operate around curriculum designed for the average classroom, the average student, not individuals. And that's a problem. Because as parents, we all know there is no such thing as an average child. At Drew, we're doing something different. We're meeting the child exactly where they are. We're taking personalized academic learning along with the incredible resources of the Drew University, its arts and athletic facilities, its labs, its community, and sometimes even its professors, to create a first-of-a-kind K-8 learning experience for your child. The goal is simple. Prepare students not just for the next grade, but for the world they are stepping into, especially in the age of AI, Google, and iPhones. A world that demands creativity, resilience, and a strong personal belief system of who they can be. The Drew School started out as a very personal journey for me. Like many parents, when my kids stopped enjoying school, I started asking hard questions about education. What was working? What wasn't? And what our kids really need for the world they're going to be stepping into. For me, it started with my oldest daughter, Kenzie. Kenzie was one of the top tennis players in her age group in Texas, and she loved every minute she spent on the tennis court. But at the end of her 5th grade year, we found out almost too late that she had failed the state standardized math test and would not be moving on. The most frustrating thing for me was that entire school year, every parent-teacher conference I attended, Kenzie's teacher told me the same thing. Kenzie's fine, Kenzie's on the honor roll, no issues. And then at the end of the school year, I learned she would not be advancing to 6th grade without a full summer math remediation. The hardest part for me was what it cost Kenzie. Because of her summer math programming, Kenzie's tennis career was effectively over. She would not step on a tennis court again, and her belief in herself was all but gone. That moment was a true wake-up call for me. If I had been told earlier, I could have stepped in right away, but the system had not treated Kenzie as an individual. It treated her as an average. Until she was an average, she had failed. As Todd Rose writes in his book, The End of Average, there is no such thing as an average student. Every child has strengths, weaknesses, passions, and potential. Yet traditional schools are designed around averages, not individuals. A traditional school's goal is to keep moving kids up through the system. So I started Alpha School for Kenzie, her twin brother and sister, and anybody else who wanted to follow us on this journey. And I was gonna base it all on individualized education, personal motivation, and having fun. Kenzie became one of the very first students. And not only did she catch up academically, she began to thrive. Fun fact, a few years later, Kenzie went on to become one of the top junior beach volleyball players in America and was invited to play on the United States Junior Olympic beach volleyball team in 2015 and 2016. The thing that gives me the chills is that journey would have never happened in a traditional school program. Kenzie had unlocked this version of herself all on her own. I was just happy to give her the ride. But as I watched Kenzie's transformation in real time, I couldn't help but think, how many other Kenzies are out there? How many other students are quietly slipping through the cracks, never told the truth about where they stand, never given the chance to discover their true potential? That thought gave me the conviction to begin my school journey, to create a model where no child is treated as average. At Drew, we've built a model that gives every child an individual learning pathway. Core academics are delivered in a focused 2 to 3 hour learning window, tailored to each student's level and pace, leaving our afternoon academics open to immersive, hands-on learning. But what makes Drew truly different is the partnership with the Drew University. Our students have access to the full campus, arts and athletic facilities, labs, innovation spaces, and even mentorship from professors, graduate students, and professionals in their field. It's a school within a university, giving kids real-world exposure from the very beginning, a chance to learn not just from textbooks, but from the people forging the next generation of leaders and business builders. This is about preparing students for the future, not the past. But here are the facts of the case. None of this works without motivation. You can have the best technology, the best curriculum, the best learning coaches in the world, But if a student is not motivated, nothing happens. Motivation is the engine of learning. And at the Drew School, we design for motivation. We start by protecting curiosity. We believe for a child, curiosity is one of life's greatest gifts. But in many schools, it gets buried under busy work. At Drew, we ignite curiosity through Socratic discussions, real-world projects, and for our students, the freedom to ask their own big questions. We also give students ownership. Every morning, students create their own goal sheet. Not a teacher's checklist, but their learning plan for the day. Kind of like you, as a parent, would set up your to-do list or action list for the day. That ownership is powerful. It transforms a student's learning from compliance into commitment. Accountability is another motivator. At the end of every day, our students track their progress. They report their wins, and we celebrate the effort. They report their struggles, where they might be stuck, and we talk about it. When you stand up in front of your peers and declare your goals, you don't want to come back the next day empty-handed, and that becomes the power of the community. Here's what we learned. Motivation doesn't mean kids love every task. Struggle is absolutely part of the journey. We believe that struggle empowers character, that character comes before confidence, and that failure is just feedback. When students learn to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and keep going, that's when you know they're building the stamina and the grit to succeed in life. That's real motivation. And that is when learning really sticks. And we know motivation thrives in the right culture. At Drew, we've built a community where every student is respected, challenged, and celebrated. The adults in the room act more like coaches than teachers. They ask questions and not always give the answers. We want our students to learn the gift of having to figure it out. Just like in sports, you cannot tell a kid how to swing a baseball bat. They must find their own path through directed coaching. Workshop leaders bring real-world expertise, connecting students to fields like science, entrepreneurship, and the arts. And our daily rituals, morning launches, shout-outs, closing reflections, all foster a sense of belonging and accountability. Students aren't just individuals on a journey, they're part of a tribe, learning together, holding each other accountable, and celebrating each other's wins. And when students move up a level or hit a big milestone, we mark it with promotion ceremonies, moments of recognition that reinforce effort, achievement, and community pride. Let's talk about why all of this matters. Right now, Gen Z is struggling in college. Professors report students can't finish books, they can't write strong essays, and too often a very high percentage of these students are outsourcing their work to AI. Many of these students are arriving unprepared, unmotivated, and uninterested in learning. And this isn't just a student problem. Professors are quitting in frustration. They are saying it's nearly impossible for them to teach when students are relying on a quick AI prompt instead of developing their own critical thinking skills.
2/3 of teachers believe they're regularly receiving work written by AI.
Others say it discourages kids from thinking on their own, critically, that is. Nancy Chen spoke to
the Center for Democracy and Technology says 59% of teachers believe one or more of their students have used generative AI for
If you were
school
watching the web
purposes.
traffic to ChatGPT since it was released by OpenAI, you would have seen the visits peak in April and then start dipping down. Some people thought maybe AI-generated text was just a fad after all. But now it seems like maybe that was just summer break.
Think about that. Would you feel comfortable with a doctor who passed medical exams using ChatGPT? I know I wouldn't. The reality is, the system is failing too many of our kids. Reading proficiency is dropping, writing skills are declining. In middle school, creativity has fallen off a cliff. And if we don't take action in these primary school years, struggles will only compound in high school. And I've seen the consequences firsthand. In addition to building schools, the last 3 years, I worked as a professor of math at Austin Community College in Texas, teaching adult learners who had dropped out of high school and were returning later in life for their GED. Many of these students were bright and capable people, but they had been failed by a system. When they got behind, they were left behind. And that experience reinforced something for me. If we don't intervene early, kids carry those struggles for years, which is exactly what I refused to allow my daughter Kinsey to experience in her middle school years. That is why Drew matters. Because here, we're solving these problems before they take root by teaching kids to think critically, write powerfully, persevere through challenges, and stay motivated for the long haul. We believe we are creating a different type of learner. The world our kids are entering is changing faster than any generation before. Many of the jobs our kids will hold down don't even exist yet. That's why the Drew School isn't just about academics. It's about preparing students to think critically, adapt creatively, and figure stuff out. It's about helping them discover their unique gifts, skills, and passions, which will be used to find success in their life. Every student is on a hero's journey. Our role is to guide them, to challenge them, and to cheer them on as they find their way. We believe that by nurturing curiosity, building character, and fueling motivation, we can prepare a generation not just to succeed, but to lead, to go out into the world with the confidence to make a difference. The Drew School is more than a school, it's a movement. It's a promise to never treat children as averages, but as individuals with limitless potential. We're building something truly one of a kind here, and we'd love for you and your family to be part of it. Thanks for your time.